Problem 73, we've got this binomial multiplied by this trinomial equaling 0. So one of these factors has to be 0. So what's going to make this one 0? Well, we've got that one already. This is going to be negative 5 over 3. But what about this one? Well, this is quadratic. So we can actually factor this. So let's do that. Let's rewrite our 3x plus 5. Don't forget to bring that down. And now what we're going to do is we're going to factor this trinomial up here. So 2x squared, we can get a 2x and then x. Now, what about that 25? Well, we can use a 25 and a 1 or a 5 and a 5. If we try the 5 and the 5, let's just see what would happen here. I'll put a 5 here and a 5 here. Now, is there any chance this could work? Let's look at the outer product and the inner product and see if that gets us to that 15. So here's a 10x. Here's a 5x. Looks like it'll work. 10x and 5x, I can get a 15. This is positive. So these two numbers have to have the same sign, which is that middle minus sign. So I'll put a minus and a minus. And now we've got three factors, this one, and this one, multiplying together to give us 0. So we can read off the solution. So we'll get x equals negative 5 over 3 from the first factor, right? Change the sign and divide. From this factor, we'll get positive 5 over 2. Positive 5 over 2. And then from our last factor, change the sign and divide by 1. We'll get positive 5 over 1, or just positive 5. There's our three solutions to this equation. Now we're getting three solutions, and you see why. We have a quadratic here, but this is a linear, and if we were to multiply these together, right, we'll get 6x cubed. So there's a cubic, so we're expecting our three solutions. Here they are. Now, to solve this equation in problem number 77, it looks like we've got some work ahead of us. We're going to have to multiply through here, and then get all the terms on one side, 0 on the other. So let's start with the multiplication on the left side. Multiplying through here, we're going to get 8x squared minus 16x equals, now multiplying on the right side, the first and the first will give us a 2x squared, and then the outer product is negative 4x, the inner product is 3x, so negative 4x plus 3x, that's going to be a negative x, and then the last and the last is a negative 6, so we'll get a minus 6 here. Now let's get all the terms on one side, 0 on the other, and I think I'm going to choose to get all the terms on the left side. I've got 8x squareds over here, only 2 over here. So I've got more over here than I do over here. So let's get them all on the left side. That'll keep the x squareds positive. So we'll do that by subtracting 2x squared. So first of all, 8x squared minus 2x squared is 6x squared. Then we'll add, right, we'll add the x. So negative 16x plus x, negative 15x. And then we'll add the 6. So if we add the 6, we now have 6x squared minus 15x plus 6 equals 0. Now we need to factor this. But we notice, because we always look for common factors, there's a 3 common to all three of these terms. So let's factor out that 3. So we'll get 3 times, we'll get 2x squared minus 5x plus 2 equals 0. Bring the 3 down, and let's factor this trinomial here. Don't forget to equal 0. How about 2x and x? Now, there's only one way to get a 2 and a 1. And we know we can't put the 2 here, because if I put the 2 here, I'd have 2's in common. So we can't put the 2 here. So if it's going to factor at all, the 2 will have to go over here. So let's see what happens. We'll get a 2 and a 1. Now, before we go any further, let's just see if there's a chance for this. Here's 4x and x. Looks good. We can get a 5x out of that. So let's just get the signs right. This sign here is positive. So these two numbers have the same sign, which is that middle negative sign. So negative, negative. Now I'm going to read off the solution. So x is equal to, change the sign and divide, 1 over 2. Change the sign and divide. 2 over 1, or just 2. This is a quadratic equation. Right? Quadratic. I got two solutions. And keep in mind that 3 really has no effect on the solution because there's no variable. That could be 0, that could be 0, but this cannot be 0. So here's our two solutions.